Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tatiana Show. Today is sort of a impromptu episode that I threw together last minute. For those of you who have been keeping up with my Instagram, my Twitter, and my 5,000 other forced social media interactions that I have to deal with on a daily basis, you will know that I was on a cruise, the Contra Krugman cruise, with all the people that think Paul Krugman is wrong and they like to make fun of him, which I think is a very funny concept for the cruise. I was also at a FinTech conference in Atlanta, and then I went to the Reform conference in Atlanta as well. I just wanted to say a couple notes about the cruise itself, and then I'll kind of go through my other travel schedule. But, you know, I was on the cruise and it's Tom Woods and Bob Murphy that are the organizers. And Lynn Ulbricht, Ross Ulbricht's mother, was there with me. So she had a chance to give people the latest on the Free Ross case. They're going to the Supreme Court, hopefully, and hopefully there's going to be some justice for Ross. But there were also a couple other people at the conference that I wanted to bring attention to because I was so impressed with everything that they were saying and their talks. Michael Bolton from the 10th Amendment Center, he had a really great talk, and he'll be coming on the Tatiana Show soon, so you can look him up. And there was also Dave Smith, who's a comedian with a audio thing called Libertas. And he also has a podcast called Part of the Problem. So Dave is going to be coming on. And I had some doubts about a libertarian comedian being funny, because usually the only qualification is having the same political view versus actually having to be funny. But he was really great. And it was really neat hearing about it. It was nice to see the resistance is strong. And I've always felt like comedy is such a great way to fight the power. And you can't stop the funny. Even in today's culture where, you know, there's a lot of policing of what's funny or not. But, you know, when you make people laugh, you get them on your side. So it was really neat to meet Dave. And then Scott Horton, who's going to be coming on the Tatiana Show hopefully this week. He has the Scott Horton Show. And, you know, I learned a lot from him because he's an anti-war journalist. He has a podcast. He knows all these different things. He just wrote a book. I think it's called A Fool's Errand. And it's about what happened in Afghanistan. And I've always really admired Scott's work, but I've been very intimidated because he talks about Yemen and all these different cities in the Middle East. And nobody likes to feel stupid, right? So he does make me feel a little bit uninformed, but he told me that, you know, you've got to really just hang in there. And then eventually you start to get it. And I think with that, a little bit of a mind opening and not forcing myself to understand everything, I got a lot out of his talk. And Yemen is a big hot mess, everybody. So yeah, check out his work, scotthorton.org, or the Scott Horton Show, something like that. I don't know. I'm a terrible plugger. But anyway, so it was really neat and I had a really awesome time. And then right after I got back from the cruise, I went to Manage, which is a ICO chatbot kind of AI conference that was in Boston. And that's where I saw Arry, who's going to be coming on the show in just a little while. Arry's from the Storm Project, and she's doing a lot of different interesting things. And I've seen her speak a few different times now, and every time I'm like, Arry's so cool. So I'm happy to have her on the show. They're doing a big ICO later this month, so it's going to be neat to talk a little bit about that because I think it's actually a really useful, cool blockchain project. But before we bring on Arry, I wanted to bring on Richard Jacobs, who's helping organize, or is the organizer, I'm not sure if you're sharing that title, for the Bitcoin Superconference, which is in Dallas, February 16th to 18th. And I'm going to be doing a talk there. And I wanted to give Richard a chance to talk a little bit about the conference. So if people need to plan, it seems like a pretty big event, and hopefully people can come down to Texas. But welcome to the show, Richard. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, Tatiana, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about why crypto, what happened? How did you end up planning this conference? Give people a little background.
Yeah, about a year ago, I was all caught up in the Trump versus Hillary election, and you know,
worthwhile.
Well, it wasn't, because it was stressing me out and it was just negative. And
I know.
You know, I started thinking, what would I rather fill my head with? And that's future tech type stuff. You know, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, you know, Bitcoin, etc. So I decided to start a podcast on it called FutureTech Podcast. And I started interviewing companies in these various spaces. And out of all of them, blockchain and Bitcoin was like the most interesting. So I kept at it, and I started going to a local meetup that
Well, looks like we lost Richard. We're never going to find out what happened at the local meetup, but we'll give him a minute and hopefully he'll call us back. I guess, there's a lot of different people that are brought together with cryptocurrency. And I was thinking when he mentioned, oh, here he is.
Oh, I lost you for a second.
Okay, Richard, fill us in. So you were saying that you started going to the local meetups?
Yeah, so I was doing the podcast, going to local meetups, and I just got more and more interested in crypto. And as of this date, I've done, well over 200 interviews with different companies in the space. And I just finished a book called Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain, what I learned from interviewing 200 plus companies. So I wanted to get more involved in the space. I'm not a developer. Sure, I could probably come up with some new token or something, but I don't think the space needs that. So how can I help it grow? I figured I'm going to put on a conference, and the whole goal is to showcase people the uses of blockchain. It's not just for money or remittances. It's for identity and for voting and for logistics and all that. So that's how the whole idea came about, and that's where it all came from.
Very cool. And tell me a little bit about what is the focus of the conference? Like, what kind of speakers do you have? You want to do use cases, but can you give us a little bit more about who and what people will see when they go?
Yeah, I'll give you some examples. So we have Anish Mohammed. He's going to talk about quantum cryptography. How's that going to affect blockchains? Will it destroy Bitcoin and other blockchains, or will they adapt and grow from there? So that's one. We have salt lending. They allow you to borrow against your crypto holdings without having to liquidate it. So if I have 100,000 in crypto, I could borrow, 80,000 of it, put a down payment on a house, and I don't have to liquidate my crypto, which is great, for instance.
That's super neat. Isn't Eric Voorhees working with that project? I think so.
Yeah, he's an advisor on their board. Yep, definitely.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I had him on the show a few weeks ago. I remember him mentioning it and thinking it was really neat.
Yeah, and speaking of the devil, Eric Voorhees is going to come too, and he's going to talk about Shapeshift and Prism, their new way to invest. It's a little bit complicated to explain. I'll let him do it, but he's going to be there.
It made so much sense when he explained it, which is, not my strong suit when it comes to explanations. So I'm always really impressed when somebody can explain it, because I think the layman is really the person that needs to understand. But maybe that's just my opinion.
No, I agree. In regards to that, we're going to be having a beginner's class on Bitcoin and Ethereum for people that know nothing. How do I get it? What's a wallet? How do I buy and sell, receive and send, etc.? The reason why is that, a lot of people attending are going to be enthusiasts, but there's a big component of like 40 to 70-year-old people. They have money because they're older. They're interested in crypto, but they're like skittish about it, and there's not a lot of education. So I want to reach out to that demographic and get them as well.
Well, all those people need to put their money into crypto and not in the US dollar, because I don't know how, well, whatever. I mean, that's a little conspiratorial, but I'm not so hopeful about the US dollar. My returns on Bitcoin have been significantly higher than the dollar has ever done for me.
Definitely.
Cool. So that's neat. How many people are you guys expecting?
800. And we've sold, we just hit the 300 mark in terms of ticket sales. So we're going to get there. My goal is to sell... Yeah, a third now, a third by the end of the year, and the last third for the last rush. But I want to make sure that we fill up, and it looks like we're going to. So far, so good.
It sounds like it. So how much are tickets right now? Are there any kind of specials if people are getting them earlier on or anything?
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of affiliates. News, BTC, Crypto Insider. I mean, so that's giving people 10% off. Obviously, for listeners of this show. We'll post an affiliate link for you guys, so you'll get 10% off tickets. And tickets right now are about $597, so it'll be $530, $520 with the discount. And it's a 3-day conference, so I think the price reflects you hearing 40 plus speakers and 3 days, all day, all night of content. So it's going to be a big event.
I think that's a pretty affordable price tag, and I like to see things coming in at a price that people can afford. Because otherwise, it's just a bunch of bankers talking about crypto, which is always kind of funny. But you guys have like a lot of different kind of people represented, so it should be neat to see how the space evolves between now and then. Is there anything else that you want to tell our audience about the conference to kind of lure them in? Or I think we've got a lot of really good reasons to go. I'm going to be there, so that's already something.
Well, here I went to BTC Miami, and I went to Consensus, and I just literally came from the Texas Bitcoin Conference. So as someone in the space, doesn't matter what you are, you get to meet local Bitcoin traders, you get to meet investors, you get to meet, these vendors and see people and shake their hand. It puts a human face on this whole world. And I mean, you get tons of connections from it. I worked on the Bitcoin.com.
Well, folks, we're never going to find out again. I feel like we're getting a little bit into some trouble with service out there in Texas. I think that it'll be fine though by the time Dallas rolls around. Anyway, Richard.
I'm back.
Okay, here you are. Great. We were about to bring on Arry. Are you familiar with Arry's project? I really like what they're doing, and I think it has a lot of utility. So maybe when you jump off, you can take a listen. She's going to tell us all about it.
Well, I need to master technology myself. It's not working today, so I need her help and everyone's.
Very cool. Yeah. All right. So where should people go if they want to go and get the ticket? What's the website? One more time. Give us a plug.
Yeah, it's bitcoinsuperconference.com.
All right, great. Dallas, February 16th to the 18th. Take your Valentine's for a weekend of blockchain. I'm sure they would totally love that there in Dallas. All right, thanks very much, Richard. It was really great speaking with you, and we'll be sure to post the coupon code or whatever so people can save 10% off of the conference.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, guys. So that was really fun. I hope you all can make it out to Dallas. I'm super psyched. My best friend lives in Dallas, so I have to say I'm slightly partial to that. And I like Texas in general. Some people don't think that Texas and New Jersey are similar, but I think that they are in a weird way. They've got a lot of sassy people. My next guest is coming to me from, I think, Seattle. Arry, where are you today?
I'm officially in Seattle today.
Very nice. Okay, cool. So I think you need to wear your headphones because otherwise we're going to hear the echo.
I need headphones. Uh-oh. Okay, one sec.
No worries. So Arry and I have been traveling all around the world. Everybody can hear the echo even if I try and kill time. So we'll give it a second. Okay, Arry, you can unmute yourself now. Perfect.
How's this?
I think much better.
Okay.
Cool. So Arry and I have known each other for a little while. We met for the first time in Aspen at the Nexus conference, which was really neat. And I thought, wow, this chick is a real badass. And I liked her. And I thought I have to have her on the Tatiana show. And maybe you could tell everybody a little bit about your background, and then we can get more into Storm and Cake Codes and what you guys have been working on. But tell me a little bit about how you ended up in the crypto space. I always think that's an interesting thing because people come from all over.
So how did I end up in the crypto space? I think we officially ended up in the crypto space because my husband and I were actually angel investors in the company that I'm COO of right now. So started off as angel investors and just amazing traction being reported by the CEO. And then he asked me, hey, why don't you join as the COO? Uh-oh. And then I said, hey, sure, totally, I'm in. So that's how I entered the crypto space. But my background actually started in the world of music and art. And then I went into the world of technology. And that's how I entered the crypto space.
That's what I want to know. What happened? What were you doing in music and art? And then how did you end up in tech? Because I think creative people, I have an aversion to technology, but as I get older, I'm like, oh, I need to make technology my friend because technology helps. So tell me a little bit about your background.
Let's see, how do I make it faster? In the first 20 years of my life, I thought I was going to go to Juilliard. And so I spent most of my life practicing the piano, doing violin, classical musician. Classical music taught me how to be really good at pattern recognition and also looking at everything as a sort of musical instrument. And so came out of school and I worked for this general manager doing parties for him because party planning seemed really fun. And then he looked at me and he literally said, hey, you're Asian, you know how to do math. I need an analyst. And most people will be like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, I'm Asian. I'm not the best at math, but how hard could it be? It was really hard. It was the hardest job I've ever had. But I learned the world of reporting, Excel, access databases, all this sort of stuff. And then from there, I got recruited into the world of consulting. So I started working for the big four consulting firms, doing reporting and CFO advisory stuff, and more business intelligence and data warehouses.
What did you study in college? Business?
Asian studies and music.
Oh, seems like you were very prepared for your work life.
Not at all. Like my first project, the project manager sat me down and he's like, "Hey, so do you know how to code in SQL?" And I said, "Nope." He dropped a book in front of me. He's like, "You have 3 days to learn how to code." And I said, "What?" He's like, "In the meantime, I'd like you to build rational diagrams in Irwin." I was like, "I don't even know what you just said." Just what I have learned is that I'm really good at learning fast. And then from data warehouses into web apps and mobile apps, did that for about 4 or 5 years, leading development teams. Again, not technical, but if you know where you're going and you're able to talk to the business guys and figure out what they're trying to accomplish, and then you're able to talk to the technical guys in a language that they understand, you can sort of be the bridge. And so I've always been that bridge between business and technology, working with technical teams or business teams. And then as I got really, really good and more experience with that, I started doing the solution architecting, which meant I was doing a lot of the sales stuff. So I got really good at the sales stuff. And then here I am. Got into the world of startups over the last 4 years.
That's quite a story. And I think it's really, really important to have somebody who speaks both languages. I work with a lot of different teams, and sometimes it's like, I wish that there was a little bit more glue. So I always like seeing teams that are kind of mindful of that sort of thing. Can you tell me a little bit about Cake Codes versus BitMaker versus Storm Token? Because there's a lot of action going on over there.
Yeah. So in the journey of a startup, usually the first name that you come up with and like the first structure and your first like proof of concept prototype that you evolve, over a couple of years until you hit this thing called product market fit. That's what Cake Codes and BitMaker is. Cake Codes is the company, original company name. And it was founded by 2 kids out of college, a guy named Calvin and a guy named Kevin, hence Cake, C-A-K-E, Codes. And
I just thought that they were into cake.
Oh, we do eat a lot of cake, like every week with this team. But that's beside the point. And then they created this app called BitMaker. And back in 2014, they were really into big blockchain and Bitcoin, but there's all that Mt. Gox and Silk Road and all this boohoo in the media about the space. So they were like, I think there's other people like me who would like to earn crypto, but in a not so risky way. And so they created BitMaker, continued to grow it. Then Simon came on board, I think a year in, and he's like, "Oh, this is great. You guys are growing this users."
But what is BitMaker for people that don't know? Like, what does it do?
Originally, it was watching videos, 5 seconds to 30 seconds, and you would get paid, 2 cents to, a handful of cents in Bitcoin, which was actually quite a lot back in the day in 2014, right?
Sure. If you held on to it, it'd be worth a lot more.
Holy crap, yeah. And then, so now it's evolved into trying out different products and services. So if you try out Hulu for 30 days, you can get like $15 in crypto. If you try out Final Fantasy, you can get like $30 in crypto. Like we have a lot more offers, and we have a lot more offers to add, of course. But it's a way for people to try out different products and services, get paid in crypto. It's no risk. All you have to do is put in, 5 minutes of your time off your mobile device, and that's it. And so we were able to hit that product market fit area earlier this year in January, February 2017. And so that's where we decided, we've actually solved the problem. We're solving a really big global problem around microtransactions. And that's why we decided to do the whole Storm tokenizing thing. We're rebranding BitMaker into Storm Play. And then we've also rebranded the company now from Cake Codes to StormX. So the official company name is StormX.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that gets a little bit confusing, but
yeah.
So I was really interested in your talk, how people can basically make money like microtransaction like payments, right? So for me to get paid a couple pennies or even $1 or $2, it's not really worth it. I live in America, I have a job and regular like income. Talk to me about the impact on other countries where they're maybe not as affluent, and how have you seen that played out? Like how much adoption are you seeing?
It's pretty crazy. I think we were going through like 70-80% month over month user growth. And then what we have been able to do also is raise the amount a person can earn from 2 cents to 20 cents to a couple dollars. And to us in the US, we're like, 2 cents, $2, whatevs. But to people in other parts of the world, it's really, really meaningful. It means I can actually pay for lunch and I can feed my family. Yeah. And the way we see it happening is it's very easy. Like you spend 5 minutes on your mobile device and you earn $2. Grandma can do it. Grandma can figure it out and she can teach grandpa to do it. So now they're both earning $2. And so they have $4 earning in the family. It's so easy that they could teach like their aunts and uncles. And so you can see how it can, whole villages and whole families can completely change their lives with this little action. In the US, go ahead.
So that's super cool. But the obvious question is that, well, okay, so say I live in the Philippines or some other country and, I've got my 2 cents worth or whatever. How do you actually use that? Are they getting paid in Bitcoin? Are they getting paid Storm? How do they use it in their day-to-day life? Because here I can use my Shift card and buy whatever I want anytime. Mm-hmm. But how do you do it in one of those nations?
So until we tokenize and become Storm token, which is happening on November 7th, people have been able to earn, we call it in either Bitcoin or Ether. So you do enough tasks, watch enough videos. Once you get to a certain threshold, you can withdraw into Bitcoin or Ether. And then starting November 7th, you'll be able to withdraw in Storm tokens.
Cool. So they have to have a way of withdrawing it within their country. So they do have to have some sort of an understanding about cryptocurrency. What is your, I guess, the question would be, well, how do you help them jump that hurdle? And the obvious answer would be the incentive is there. They should actually have that incentive to learn that, right? Because it's hard to get people to change their behavior. Have you given any thought to helping people who are not necessarily technically savvy get on the bandwagon? Or do you think that there's enough volume of people who are aware of these kinds of technologies? Like, how are you getting people to participate? And are they running into roadblocks because of their lack of technical knowledge?
Well, one of the things that'll happen in the blockchain and crypto space as more and more, I guess, blockchain 2.0 enthusiasts come in is it'll become easier and easier for people in the general masses, people who aren't as technically savvy, to figure out how to use it. And one way we're doing it right now is we've partnered with Coinbase and Zappo. Generally, these are a little bit more easier to set up than like figuring out how to use a MyEther wallet, I think. And so that's the minimum requirement. Someone just has to set up your wallet, and then you hook it up. You enter your wallet address into the BitMaker app, and that's literally it for setup. And then you just have to have a mobile device, and you have to be able to pick which applications you want to do.
Wow.
You have a confused look.
Well, I'm just wondering about the cost of the Bitcoin transactions and how do you that's probably why you have the Storm token, because you needed to mitigate the expense. Like if $1.50 or whatever it costs $1.50 and you got to do a whole bunch of work before you can even cash out.
Right. So there's a threshold that users have to get to. And obviously with the rising prices of Ether and Bitcoin, people used to have to do 5 tasks a week to start withdrawing. Now they have to do like 75 tasks a week, which kind of doesn't make sense. It's like not cool. And so that's why we need a token that will more support a microtransaction with a lower withdrawal limit. So that's why we're tokenizing with Storm tokens. And the other thing that we've really gotten good at over the past few years, because we are a microtransaction company, is we actually batch all the transactions. So we're not doing for every single microtransaction, we're batching them, and then we're doing the payouts in one big clump.
Oh, nice. Okay, so then that you guys have been thinking about it seems to be getting fixed.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I think I see a lot of different crypto projects, right? And especially when you hear the word ICO, it's like, oh no. But one of the good things when people look into Storm that they'll see is that you guys have a really strong team. Can you talk to me a little bit about the qualifications of the team that kind of gives you guys credit. I mean, obviously, well, really, you already have the credit because you have a product that's working and is being used by a lot of people. So it's not like you're selling some pie in the sky dream, but maybe help people who haven't really researched the team. Like I really like Simon's story. So maybe if you could tell us a little bit about that, that'd be neat.
Yeah, I mean, we have a stellar team. When you just look at the people, our employees, and you also look at our amazing sauce advisory team. This is something that we've been working on building over the past 6 months, especially with this tokenizing event that's coming up. Simon's very special. So he's a young millennial. At the age of 19, he had to drop out of college because his parents went bankrupt and ran out of money. And he was like, crap, like, how am I going to eat? And so he had a couple of side hustles, and he was trying to like make ends meet, but he still didn't have enough money for rent. And so he started selling tacos out of his dorm room. And being the millennial he was, and I think back in the day, Facebook's algorithms wasn't as complicated. And so he learned how to growth hack out of Facebook. Yeah, he asked the first 2 orders that came in, they $2 a taco. Guy ordered tacos, and he messaged Simon back and said, these are the best tacos I've ever had in my life. And Simon goes, I'll give you another free taco if you like tweet that or Facebook that. Guy Facebooks it, and then within, he grew that from $2 in tacos, the first $4 an order, to $10,000. He turned that $10,000. He traded that on somehow like investing in Dell and IBM and some like blue chip stocks, turned that into $30,000 in less than a year. And then he turned that $30,000, he bought a taco truck. And so now he has a mobile taco truck, and he uses data to figure out where the best location is for tacos. And then he turned that into a multi-million-dollar business. And so the guy is just, if you talk to him, he's a very good nose for figuring out what consumers want, listening to their demand, and getting that feedback and then turning it into a sustainable, scalable business. Like, that's his special sauce. He's just really good at it. And
well, it seems like you guys have already been doing that. So
yes,
way to go.
Yeah, turning a business that was not profitable. Simon joins. Within 6 months, it's profitable. And we've been profitable since January. So that's like pretty awesome, And then we have our new CTO is called Rui Maximo. That's his name. I really love saying it.
Is that his real name, or did he just make it up? Like, he's like, I'm going to watch, like, I don't know, Conan or something and make up a name, Rui Maximo.
Rui Maximo. It's like the coolest name ever. So I'm always like, hi, Rui Maximo, what's up? He's half Portuguese and half Chinese, so it's a very interesting mix. He speaks fluent Portuguese, which is really, really cool. 25-year veteran in software, security, worked for RSA. He's a mathematician and cryptographer. He started a program in Solidity about 3 years ago, so he's pretty well versed. He's leading the tech team. He has a really quiet way of leading the team, and so he's always thinking about the energy of the team. And so if people are starting to look a little sleepy after lunch, he's like, all right, everybody get on the floor and let's do some push-ups, or let's do some like jumping jacks. So the entire dev team, they'll stand up in the middle of the day and like start doing jumping jacks, and we're like, what? Yeah, but it works.
That sounds really fun. I am not going to do jumping jacks with him. I'm a little too lazy for that, but I'm glad that he's leading a good health effort. So the Storm team will have a long life. Let me ask you, so I go to a lot of different Bitcoin conferences, and I don't know if I've really run into many people from your team there, but now you guys are like, is that an accurate assessment that there wasn't a lot of Bitcoin blockchain attendance from the team until recently? Because I know that you've been speaking up a Storm, Simon's all over the place. Was that like a strategic thing? Or, I mean, I think it's really hard to travel around quite a bit too. Well, so where can people catch up with you guys in person, I guess, is the real question.
I guess until recently, because we did our seed raise earlier this summer, and then we did the pre-sales of the token at the end of the summer. It wasn't until very recently where we could even afford lunch, let alone to travel. And so we did a small angel round. That was the round that I came in with my husband. That was their first time that they started traveling. So end of December is when they first started traveling out to different conferences. They could only do like one every other month because it was that expensive. And then we got a couple more angel investors at the beginning of the spring. And so he hit a couple more conferences in May, including Consensus in New York City. And so as we've gotten more funds, we've been able to get out more. I think coming up, I think we're planning on getting to DevCon in the Cancun. I'll be out and about. I don't really know. If there are any suggestions on where we should be, we're totally open for it, because this is, we want to go where the people are and where we're wanted and where it might be interesting.
Well, I have a couple suggestions. I'm doing the Polish conference December 1st and 2nd in Warsaw.
Oh.
And I would think that you guys would do well with Eastern Europe type clientele and like kind of engagement. And then I'm going to do the Latin American Bitcoin conference at the beginning of December, and that should be really fun for sure. So we could talk about that offline. We're due for a call either way, but yeah, I think it's going to be neat to get to go to Poland again. I have family out there, and I'm going with the Zencash team, and
they're awesome. They're so fun.
Well, they're my peeps, and I'm going with them. First, we're going to Poland, and then we're going straight to Bogota. So if you want to get in on our little bonanza, you let me know. It's going to be really cool. I just bought my flights and everything, and I have family in Warsaw, and it's really neat to go to Poland because I can speak in Polish, but now I'm doing public speaking a little bit. So it's just a neat experience, something a little bit different. So if we go there, there will be a lot of pierogies and vodka involved. So buck up. Anyway, all right, cool. So I think it's probably a good time to wrap, but I wanted to give you one last chance to tell people, because people can get in on the sale now, right? I wanted to actually get some, and I was trying to figure it out. Like, do I need to be an accredited investor, or how does that work? If anybody, like, how do people actually get your token? Give me the dates. What do they get? How soon could they use it? Like, what's the spiel?
Sure. So registration is open right now for anybody and everybody until November 5th. So you go to stormtoken.com, token sale, or just go to stormtoken.com and you'll be able to figure it out with the navigation. You can see all of our stories and our stats and the who's who of our team. So you go in and you have to register. Registration is required for anybody that's going to participate in the crowd sale. It's really easy. Just put in your name, your date of birth, and upload a couple documents. Actually, only one document, passport or your national ID, ideally. You get verified, and then you just wait patiently until November 7th, 6 a.m. PST or 1 p.m. UTC. We are beginning our crowd sale. And that's literally it.
How much do people have to buy with it? Like, what do they do in order to, okay, I registered, I'm waiting, it's the time, what do I do now? It's going to give me instructions. Do I have to have a special wallet? What am I doing?
So you have to have an ERC20 compatible wallet. That could be like a MyEther wallet or Jax. We have a great partnership with them.
Nice.
So you take in your ETH address and you figure out how much you want to send. So we don't have any minimums, but you probably want to put in just enough to cover at least the gas costs, or your transaction's not really going to go through, right? So you just put in a little bit, maybe it's 1 Ether or half an Ether, whatever it may be. And then you submit it. And then as soon as the transaction goes through, the Storm tokens will magically appear in like your Jax wallet. Or if you're using Mu, then you want to just add the, the 16-digit or 18-digit decimal thingy, and your Storm tokens will magically appear in your Mu wallet.
I don't know what a Mu wallet is. You've just given me a lot of assignments. I have a lot of work to do.
MyEther wallet, Mu.
Oh.
Like Mia without the O.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. Oh, thank you. That saved me some time. Okay, so what do people do with that money though? Like, what do you do with your taxes, for example? Because people obviously are listening to the show. All jokes aside, no one wants to run afoul of the law. So how do people deal with that? Has this been something that you can advise people on, or like, what are people doing about that?
I think I'm actually new to this space, but we do believe in paying all our taxes. And so what we do is track the in date of when the tokens come into your wallet. And then if you ever move it or you change it or you sell it off or whatever you want to do, that's the date and also the price that you want to log. And so any change in the price is what you want to pay the taxes on. But the real purpose of the Storm token is actually to be used within Storm Play, which is formerly known as BitMaker. You can use Storm tokens to create tasks for other people. So it could be something like, hey, I'm going to get 10,000 Twitter people to like my post at Queen Tatiana. I don't know.
That's a good idea. I'm going to start paying people to do like my bidding. I like this. I can get my own storm.
Everyone like the Bitcoin Superconference show and promote it. If you tweet it, then I'll pay you like 5 cents. I don't know.
Oh, cool. Very good. I should use this for Tatiana coin in some way. We should talk about that.
Oh, we should.
Well, Tatiana coin's a whole big mess right now because of the SEC. Like, there's been all these things. Like, we're so close from basically like about to launch, and then the lawyers are like, no, and we're like, no, wait. They're like, die. Yeah. So we have to find the right partner in order to solve the problem. But let me tell you something. Technology is no joke. It's very, very easy to break the law when you're not even trying to. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it could be a little bit of a rude awakening, but cool. So this is very good stuff. Oh wait, tell me about Zencash. Don't you guys have a partnership with them?
We do. We're working with Zencash, and actually they're one of our clients with BitMaker currently. And so
yeah, I've been seeing all these emails about kind of incentivizing people, and I'm like, why am I CC'd on this? But now I understand a little better.
Yeah, so it's a Zencash. You can use BitMaker, soon to be called Storm Play, as a way to do user acquisition for your company. And so we have 270,000 monthly active users across 187 countries, and Zencash would like those people to know about Zencash. And so I think we started off with the sweepstakes saying, hey, if you sign up with your email address on Zencash, you might win like a pile of Zencash. Woohoo!
Yep.
That was the promotion. And that's it. It's very, very simple.
Yeah, I really like this. And it really allows companies to test their stuff in a cost-effective way. And that was something that, I don't know, I guess you just learn something new in tech every day. Like, I never even thought that was a thing that you needed to worry about. It's like, it's perfect now. No, it's not perfect. I've learned being a guinea pig that it is oftentimes not perfect. Anyway, yeah. I'm super excited about this project. I love that it's actually making an impact. So thank you so much for joining us today. Do you want to give people one final plug, and then we'll get this posted out online so we can share it around?
Sure. Register now. November 7th is the crowd sale date. So check out www.stormtoken.com. We're all about earning anywhere, anytime, from any device.
I love it. Very cool. All right. Well, thanks, Arry. We'll have you on, after the sale and get an update for everybody. And otherwise, I hope to see you in Poland.
Yes, that sounds awesome.
All right, cool.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody, for watching the Tatiana Show. Please be sure to go to bitcoinsuperconference.com. Join us in Dallas, February 16th to the 18th. Make sure that you register for Storm token, November 7th. The storm will be unleashed upon you. And make sure that you check out some of our sponsors, Crypto Compare, really neat guys. They've got all sorts of good crypto info. And I always like to plug the Bitcoin CPA because you got to do your taxes right, and Kirk knows how to help with your taxes. Love to all my friends, Sovereign Techs, X and Science Hour. I wish Valtoro was here today, but Josh is MIA. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. I've got a couple of shows planned for this week. So thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Bye.